She turned her husband into a skeleton to become rich. Welcome to Folklore African Stories. She rushed to her friend. When she heard the women's screams coming from everywhere, Mama Adassa, give me that basket. I want 10 of them. You don't have the color blue. The jewelry doesn't either, madam. I love it too much. How much are the 5 there? I'll take everything. I have 100,000 CFA francs. I'll take everything on display. Imani watched. Customers were milling around. The loincloths were selling like hot bread. Adassa, she smiled. Imani approached. She shook her head and said, Hey honey. It's hot in here, eh? I want to be like you too. Imani and Adassa. They weren't strangers. They had known each other since childhood. Same neighborhood. Same school. They grew up together. Always close. Always together. They studied. Ate from the same plate. And laughed in the same classes. And then one day, they made a decision. We're going to sell. We'll manage. They started selling loincloths. Jewelry. At the Nkembo market. Over there. In Libreville. That's where it all started. Imani. She traveled a lot. Benin. Togo. China. She would go and get the loincloths herself. She would sleep on the road. She would negotiate in the warehouses. She fought. She even opened a store in Libreville. She did everything to succeed. Her friend Adassa was also selling. Same goods. Same city. She had a store in Libreville. But there was one thing wrong. Adassa. She didn't move. Never. She didn't travel. But she thrived. Containers arrived at her house. Every month. Sometimes even several. It was overflowing in his warehouse. The loincloths filled the store. She didn't even have any room left. And the price? It was like in Togo, China. Wholesale prices. Half price. Even those who used to travel have stopped. They came to buy from her. Because Adassa sold as if she were there. But she had never traveled. Imani approached slowly. The customers were still there. But she didn't care. She stood before Adassa. And said, You're thriving, huh? I've been traveling ever since I started. I'm leaving. I'm coming back. But frankly, I don't find myself. Not enough profit. I'm getting tired. I'm spending. I run. And you? You stay here. And you win. Imani looked her straight in the eyes. My darling, how do you do it? Tell me. Explain a little. We're friends, right? We're sisters. You can't keep your secret from me. I want the containers to come here to Libreville too. For me too. For my goods. Adassa looked at her. And said calmly, My dear, you have to fight. It's a lot of sacrifice. I work too. I place my orders, and they deliver them. Imani frowned. How do you order? Because I'm wasting my tickets. I'm going to China, Togo, Benin. Honestly, I'm tired. Maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to start ordering, right here. The money I spend on travel, I can use to get the goods here. Adassa just touched the head. She didn't insist. But if you want to talk, come to my place on Sunday. Imani said. Okay, darling, I'll come. When she got home, and went straight to her room, her husband was there. Lying down. TV on. She climbed onto the bed. And she laid her head on him. I was going to tell you something. Her husband turned off the TV. Adassa, she's thriving. You see yourself. It's not small. I don't find myself there, but she's on another level. Containers come to her house. She doesn't even travel. The husband nodded. You talked to him? Yes. I asked her. She told me to come to her house on Sunday. He said softly. That's good. It's better to talk at her place. Not at the market. Maybe she'll open your eyes. Yes, maybe she has secrets to tell you. That way, you'll welcome her secrets there. And you'll be able to do better. She just said. We'll see. On Sunday, they left together. Imani and her husband. They took the car. And they went to Hadassa's house. When they arrived, Hadassa's husband was in the yard. The children were playing. They settled down. Imani looked at her friend. My darling, how are you? You promised me. I came. Hadassah nodded. She didn't say much. Just a knowing glance. Hadassah's husband approached. He greeted Imani and her husband. Then her husband said calmly, explain to her what you're doing. It's nothing serious. She wants to progress too. She wants to bring back her goods. That's normal. Hadassah looked at Imani and said, we have a meeting tonight. With our supplier. Imani turned her head. Meeting. What time? Around 11 p.m. Sometimes midnight. It's always like this. Why so late? Imani's husband asked. That's just how it is. The people who come there aren't just anyone. Big businessmen. Big personalities. They don't want to be seen. We do this discreetly. Imani just listened. Then Hadassah turned to her. And said softly. If you want to understand. Come with me tonight. Imani smiled. She looked Hadassah in the eyes. And said calmly. Yes, my dear. I'll be there. They kissed. Then Imani and her husband got back in the car. Headed home. Arrived home. They ate. They laughed. That evening, everything seemed normal. But in Imani's heart was this sentence. Finally, I will discover the truth. That evening, Imani returned to Hadassah. As promised. She parked her car in the yard. And they climbed into Hadassah's SUV. They drove slowly. Then the car stopped. Just ahead, the Lalala River. Imani looked. And said. But, are there people here? At this hour. They're still selling by the water. Hadassah smiled. And my friend, I forgot to tell you. Before each meeting, we have to buy eggs. 6 eggs. No more. We throw them in the river. And then we can go. Imani didn't say anything. They bought the eggs. And said calmly. How new you are. You have to start. You throw 6 eggs. And I'll follow after. Imani looked at her. Not sure she understood. But she didn't ask any questions. She took the eggs one by one. And her friend. Who also threw 6 eggs. And right after that. They weren't there anymore. They found each other again. In a forest. There were lots of women. All mothers. They were sitting. And in the middle of it all. A woman's voice spoke. But Imani. She didn't see anyone. It was as if the voice was coming out of the speakers. Like a recorded message. She couldn't see the one speaking. She thought. Maybe it's a system installed there. And that's when she saw a house. A glass house. But the worst part was that you could see everything inside. There were men. Many men. And even Hadassah's husband. Imani thought to herself. But I left it at home. Hadassah replied calmly. He's gone before us. He's already here. The women were outside. The men were inside. And no one moved. The meeting had begun. Everything seemed to be going well. Nothing strange. Just people listening. But in the end, the voice spoke again. She said. The old ones, on this side. The new ones, on the other. So. They split up. 2 groups. Each on their own. And there. They were asked to form a circle. The news together. They formed a circle. And then they started praying. Prayers. That Imani didn't understand. Words. That she had never heard. After the prayer, he was led to a table. There was a person there. Sitting. Mute. But writing. She wrote down the names. Without speaking. Just a glance. And a pen that moved fast. When it was his turn. The voice came back. A voice we couldn't see. But we could hear it clearly. We'll give you a dust. Imani's eyebrows furrowed. That's what for. The voice continued. As if she hadn't heard anything. When you go home. You take some water. Drinking water. You put the dust in it. And you give it to your husband. Imani hesitated. And said. But, he'll taste it. No. It's like water. Exactly the same. She gathered dust. She said nothing. And then. We told him something else. We've registered your name. Soon. You'll receive your first container. But, I have to send money. No. With us. You sell first. And then you pay. We'll see how you're doing. And if it works, you keep going. Imani just replied. Okay. Thanks. This is where it all really began. Come in. The story has only just begun. She just looked at Hadassah. And she told her. My girlfriend. Thanks. On the way home. There was only water. They found themselves still at the edge of the river. They got back in the car. They went home. They arrived at Hadassah. Imani got back in her car. Because she left it there. She couldn't leave with 2 cars. She drove slowly. And she went home. When she got there, her husband was waiting for her. She came in. And she calmly told him, honey, everything went well. They took my name down there. Aren't you thirsty? Wait, I'll get some water. She got some water. And in what was left in the glass. She put the dust. And she handed him the glass. You never like to drink water. Drink some. Maybe that's why you're a little tired these days. Her husband laughed. Oh no you. When you're happy, you talk too much. He drank. They went to sleep. In the morning normally, it's always the husband who gets up first. But that day, it was the woman who woke up. It was 8 o'clock. She turned over. Her husband hadn't gotten up yet. But he was breathing. She shook him gently. Honey, wake up. You have to go to work. But the man wouldn't wake up. She started to panic. She picked up her phone. She called Hadassah. My sister, my husband doesn't wake up. He's still asleep. And Hadassah tells her. Close all the windows. Lock your room. Tell your children that their father has traveled. That he'll come back. Then she added. Get ready. Tonight, we'll meet again. Your reunion. And when evening came, they met again, as usual. Same place, same time. The Lalala River. They threw the eggs. 6 eggs each. And as usual, they ended up there. In that strange place where a voice spoke. But we never saw the person. At the end of the meeting, Imani's approached the person who was recording the names. Mom, I gave the water to my husband like you said. But he didn't wake up. And the lady replied. Your husband will wake up on the 7th day. This is only the 2nd. You still have 5 days left. When it's the 7th day, you come back here. We'll tell you what happens next. She looked up. Upstairs, there was still that glass house. Transparent. She saw. Hadassah's husband. Still here. Still in the same place. She told herself. But every time we come here, her husband is already there. Yet we left him at home. And Hadassah answered him with a smile. Men drive faster than us. Imani didn't say anything. She just accepted. And the days passed. Every day, she closed the room. She told her children that their father was away. Fortunately, his children were grown up. They understood quickly. And the 7th day arrived. Very early in the morning, Imani didn't open the door. She left. As planned. When she got there, she was told, you'll find your husband at the store. Not at home. She was shocked. But I left my husband in the room. I locked it. But the voice told him. That's how it is here. Don't ask too many questions. The main thing is, your husband's going to wake up. So she came home. But not straight home. She went to the store. And there she saw a big truck. A big container. And at the wheel of the truck was her husband. She couldn't believe it. Her husband didn't even know how to drive. He always had a driver. But now he was driving himself. He got out. He took her in his arms. My baby, I missed you. Come on, let's unload. It was 1 a.m. And we had to finish before 4 a.m. You're a strong woman, my baby. She looked at her. And said, the container is too full, baby. It'll be impossible for 2 of us. And the husband replied. Don't worry. Just wait a minute. She sat down. And her husband took a little walk behind the truck. He came back, with several people. They started unloading the goods. They put everything in the warehouse, in a depot. But it wasn't enough. The things even slept outside that day. And the husband said, I'm going to drop off the container. See you at home. You go home already. I don't want 4 a.m. to arrive here with the container still here. Imani looked at her. My husband, since when do you drive? But her husband had already gotten in. So she speaks to the guard. Keep my shop for me. There's stuff outside. There's no more room inside. Imani gives them some money. She's gone home. She's coming. She opens the bedroom. Her husband wasn't on the bed. Oh my God. But I had locked the bedroom, I had to find him in there. And then her husband comes out of the hallway. My darling, were you looking for me? I'm here. She didn't understand anything anymore. It was beyond her. She didn't want to ask too many questions. So they went to sleep. And in the meantime, every month, we dropped off the containers. She was selling like never before. So far, no problems. Nothing to report. But in the 6th year, yes, 6 years later, she started to think. I don't do it like that anymore. 6 good years. They still had a meeting. They did as usual. The 6 eggs. The river. They're gone. And then the voice said to her, my dear, we've been serving you for 6 years. We've never asked you for anything. But you ate all the profits alone. Now it's time for you to serve us. We need a sacrifice. She asked. What sacrifice? What will you take? They replied. Don't worry. We'll tell you. But remember, by the 7th year, you owe us someone. And at home, her husband didn't talk much anymore. Every day at midnight, he would say, baby, it's midnight, I have to go. Okay, no problem, darling. Go ahead, kiss. He had become very docile. And in the 7th year, she didn't take long. She arrived. As expected. She left for her usual meeting. And there they told him. When you get home, what you're going to see, don't shout. You have to accept yourself. Okay. Yes, okay. She came home. She sat on the bed. But she had a weight in her heart. She was thinking about, my God. Who are we going to take to my house? And there during the night, someone was touching her. But it wasn't normal. The hand was hard. Cold. Stiff. She turned around to see. And what she saw was a skeleton. A real skeleton. Lying on the bed. Who was touching her? She wanted to scream. But nothing. Not a sound. And the skeleton said to him, all this time, you've been living with a skeleton. Your real husband, he's on the other side. What others see is your husband. But you will begin to see the skeleton. She understood that every day, she slept with death. The children saw their father normally. But she only saw a skeleton. And it's not over yet. One day, she gets into the car. And skeleton says to her, drive. I'll show you something. They went to Hadassah's. And there she sees her friend. At the table. With his children. 2 boys. 2 daughters. Her husband too. But when she looks closely, the husband was a skeleton. And the 2 boys too. And the voice said to her, look carefully. It's the same as you. She also gave up her husband and children. Now it's your turn. From then on, every year they asked her for a man. And that's not all. One day, she went to that famous meeting again. And that's where she saw her husband. In a glass house. He was crying. He was screaming. Why did you do this to me? What did I do to deserve this? Look how I'm hurting. And yet, at home, the husband was there. Calm. Living normally. But she had seen the other side. She knew now. It was over. She could bear it no longer. She began to regret it. Sadness filled her heart. And if tomorrow they take my children again, I'll go crazy. She didn't sleep anymore. She lived with a skeleton. Every midnight, it was the call. She had to leave. Join the other world. Until one day she stopped.